Alright, tonight I'm going to be making cube steak and gravy. For supper, I'm going to make corn on the cob to go with it, and I'm going to make some rice to put it over. So this is how it's going to get done. Right here, we've got 4 big slabs of cube steak. Those came out of old Chuck. We're really appreciating them. They're going to be good. This is just a little bit of all-purpose flour. I mixed in salt, pepper, garlic powder, and paprika in that to bread these with. I've got vegetable oil heating up. I've got my oven preheating to 350. So here we go. All we're going to do is check and see if our oil's hot. It's looking pretty warm. We'll take these cube steaks. Just flour them real good.
It's still on.
Get them good and coated with our seasoned flour. I don't have any measurements on this. I just kind of do it just so if you look, you can see salt and pepper and paprika and garlic powder in there. I just kind of do it to taste. I don't have any measurements at all. Just kind of do it by feel. I've done this several times. And drop them in the pool and let them take a swim there.
Mega poop.
It's got 2 of them in. Wash my hands off. While those 2 are going, I'm going to grab an onion. I'm going to slice my onion up and put it in the bottom of the pan. Alright, you can see I've got the onions cut up in the pan. The cube steak are pretty well browned all the way around. So I'm going to take these 2 out and just put them right on top of the onions. Yeah, I know there's still a little bit of red coming out, but that's okay. They're going to finish cooking in the oven. We'll get these other 2 in, and then we'll get to talking about gravy. I generally like to use the gravy from a jar, but the grocery store was all out of that, so I got the gravy mix. So I'm going to have to cook some gravy and then pour it on top. So we'll see how that goes. May not be as good, might be great. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, the instructions on this pouch gravy say to add mushroom gravy mix to 1 cup of water in a saucepan and slowly bring it to a boil. So I've got a cup of water in this tiny little pan. I'm going to turn the heat on. I'm going to add this in. And you notice I'm using mushroom gravy and not brown gravy or beef gravy. Beef gravy's got too strong of a flavor to it. Mushroom gravy's about right. Brown gravy's okay too in a pinch if that's all you've got. I prefer the mushroom gravy that comes in the little glass jar, but we couldn't get that this time, so we'll just use this. I'm using a fork to stir it with to get the lumps out. And I've also got some leftover mushrooms from last night's hamburgers. I'm going to pour them on top as well when I get this going, just to make it a little bit better. So I've got the second round of cube steaks are browned up on one side. I'm fixing to give them a flip, and then I'll move them over to the pan, and we'll pour this on top and get going. Alright, you can see here I've got all 4 of my cube steaks laid on top of the onions in this baking dish. I also fished around in there and got as much of the little brown crunchy stuff that fell off of them that I could find, because that's good stuff too. And this little bit of bread that's on there will soak this gravy up, and it'll cook, and it'll be great. Hopefully this gravy's okay, because like I've already said, I like the kind that comes in a jar, but I couldn't get it. So I mixed some of those fresh mushrooms that I grilled last night on the flat top, mixed some of those in with this, and just pour our gravy all over the top, just like that. Let it soak it up real good. Oven's preheated to 350. Slide them right in. Let them go for about 20 minutes. and we'll see what they look like. Alright, next is the corn. I've got a big pot of water. I've got it turned on high, and I've got this bag of frozen corn. I got this out of the garden last year. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but the beef, we raised it right here on the farm, and we raised this corn on the garden too. I'm not even going to take it out of the bag. I'm going to set the bag and all down in the pot of water, put a lid on it, and let it go till it boils. When it starts boiling, I'll turn it off and let it sit in the water. When we get ready to eat, we'll cut the bag open and take it out. It'll be just like fresh. And here's our finished product out of the oven. You can see that the breading on the meat soaked up some of the gravy. The gravy's thickened up. The onions cook up in there. It looks real good. Here's our corn. We just cooked it right up in the bag. I'll be digging it out and cutting the bag out and getting the ears out here in just a minute. And just plain old Instant Pot rice. Alright, let's get it all plated up and see what it looks like. And here's what it all looks like now that it's been put out on the plate. You could change this recipe up if you wanted to. You could use just about any kind of meat that you want, as long as it's been tenderized. Like you could use, I use these cube steaks. You could use pork chops, boneless pork chops that have been tenderized or cubed. You can find those sometimes. You could also change up the rice. Sometimes I do mashed potatoes and put it on top of mashed potatoes. So there's a lot of different things you could do here. But browning the meat in the breading and then baking it in the oven on top of the onions and the gravy, that makes it really tender and makes it really good. So everybody that tries this, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.